All right, so are you ready to dive in? Today, we're going deep into the Nukutia Republic.
Ooh, this one looks interesting.
Yeah, I know, right? We've got news articles, some reports from their government.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really, the whole shebang.
Cool.
And this island nation, let me tell you, is not your typical island nation.
What have you found?
I mean, think Moai statues.
Okay.
Chocolate croissants.
I'm listening.
And a leader who might just breathe something other than air.
Really?
Maybe. We'll see.
That's right. And the leader we're talking about is General Nuko.
Yeah, General Nuko.
And what I think is so fascinating about Nukutia is how they've taken, I guess, these really old traditions and mixed that with like a modern, almost like a cult-like devotion to their leader.
Yeah, it's really interesting how much influence General Nuko has.
Yeah.
Like, their pronouncements can set off these huge nationwide movements.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they can even send scientists, like, scrambling. And get this, Nuko is super active online, like, always dropping these cheery greetings, like, get this, Ahako.
You don't really see that every day from, like, a world leader?
No, not really. I mean, it's smart, though, right?
It is, yeah.
Like, it's a good way to connect with people, you know?
Yeah, like they have their finger on the pulse, I guess you could say.
Yeah, totally.
But I guess that also makes you think about, like, how much influence should one person really have?
That's true, that's true.
Even if they do seem like they're trying to be good.
Right. Like, remember that whole thing with Nuko's smartwatch?
Oh, yeah.
Where it showed, like, a 0% blood oxygen level?
Oh, yeah.
And Nuko just casually, said, maybe I'm dead.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that sent the entire country into a total frenzy.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was wild.
What did the scientists say about that?
Well, okay, so instead of just being like, oh, it's probably just a glitch or whatever,
Right.
They actually started theorizing that Nuko, get this, could be a form of anaerobic life.
Anaerobic life.
Yeah, and they're even, like, citing, like, ancient Moai scriptures to support this theory.
That's pretty wild.
I know, right? And speaking of Moai, have you seen how many of those statues are in Nukutia?
I mean, I know they're known for them.
It's unreal. They are everywhere.
Wow.
Not just like the old ones either. People are constantly carving new ones.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's like a national obsession.
Yeah, it seems like they're pretty important to their culture, right?
Oh, they are. Like the spiritual pillar, according to our research.
Okay.
Meticulously polished, revered, the whole deal.
Huh. It's almost like, I don't know, like a physical thing.
Yeah.
That shows everyone who they are.
Totally.
Like together.
So anyway, when Nuko, got sick with that fever.
Oh, right.
It's no surprise the whole nation basically went into overdrive.
What do they do?
So they started this thing called the 1,000 Moai movement.
1,000?
Yeah, people were carving these Moai statues day and night.
Wow.
As like a prayer for Nuko to get better. Yeah, some villages even stopped, wait for it, chocolate croissant production.
No way.
Oh yeah, just to join the carving effort.
Wow, that is some serious dedication.
Right.
I mean, that's amazing.
Right.
But I guess you got to wonder if that affects anything else.
Well, it has, so it's led to a shortage of building materials.
Makes sense.
And like their standard of living has gone down a bit temporarily.
Oh, so it's really all connected.
Yeah, and it really shows just how much Nuko's well-being, is tied to the country, like doing well.
Oh, totally. It's like emotionally and economically.
Exactly.
Huh.
Okay, we got to talk about these chocolate croissants, though.
Okay, yeah, you mentioned those.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good pastry.
Yeah, who doesn't?
But in Nukutia, they are on another level.
Really?
They are practically sacred.
Wow.
They have price controls, specific sizes, I mean, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
And they even have their own, get this, supplementary currency called the Nukote.
A whole other currency.
Just for buying croissants.
Wow.
And Moai statues.
That's crazy.
I know, it's wild.
So they have their main currency and then this other one?
Yeah, the main one's called the Niktinu.
Niktinu.
And that's for like everyday stuff,
Right.
But then for croissants and Moai, you gotta use Nukotes.
I've never heard of anything like that.
It's pretty unique, right?
Yeah, I guess it's like they're saying these things are just as important as money, I guess.
Yeah, it's like their culture is built right into their money system.
Huh, that's pretty interesting.
So we've got the Moai, we've got the croissants.
Right.
What about like the average person living in Nukutia?
Yeah, what's it actually like to live there?
I'm glad you asked that because it's pretty wild, I think.
What have you found?
Imagine a society where like everything your leader says is like followed religiously.
Okay.
And carving a Moai statue is like your patriotic duty.
Wow.
And chocolate croissants are like not just a treat, but like a symbol of your country.
So it's like everything is connected.
Exactly. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, it is. And I guess it makes you wonder,
What's up?
are they happy? Like for real? Or do they feel like they have to do all that?
Yeah, I mean, I read about this one person who bought a Moai statue.
Okay.
And now they're basically living on like bean sprouts just to afford it.
Oh, wow.
It's intense.
So they really are willing to give up a lot for their culture.
It seems like it, yeah. Huh. Oh, and speaking of all this, you know, they have this big national holiday coming up called Moai Day.
Moai Day. That makes sense.
Yeah, and General Nuko already said that they're going to be there.
Oh, wow.
So everyone is super excited.
Yeah, you mentioned Moai statues are like a really big deal to them.
Huge deal. Yeah.
So Moai Day must be pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah, they go all out, especially this year.
What's happening this year?
Oh, they're debuting this, get this, new drink
New drink.
called Choco Cornet wine.
Choco Cornet wine. What is that?
So it's like a blend of chocolate croissant flavors and wine.
Chocolate croissants and wine.
Apparently it was like Nuko's idea.
Huh. Interesting. And they're releasing it specifically for Moai Day.
Wow.
I know. Wild, right?
So I guess the big question is, does it taste good?
Well, we'll have to see about that.
Yeah.
Oh, and they've got this whole boost system, too.
A boost system.
Yeah, where people can, like, pay extra for the rind to show that they support Nuko.
Oh, wow. So it's like they're paying more just to show how much they like Nuko.
Yeah, like a loyalty tax, I guess you could say.
Wow.
It's pretty clever from, like, a marketing perspective.
Yeah, I guess.
But, yeah, I don't know.
What do you mean?
I mean, it makes you think about, like, you know, are people being pressured into it?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
Like, is it really genuine?
Yeah, that's true.
And they even have, get this, separate lines at the stores for boosting and regular buying.
Seriously.
Oh.
Yeah, it's wild. So it's like Black Friday for chocolate croissant wine.
Pretty much.
Wow.
And with all this excitement, I mean, it really makes you wonder,
What's that?
is there any room for, like, disagreement in Nukutia? Oh, yeah, like, can you even have a different opinion there?
Well, that's where things get really interesting because there have been some, shall we say, controversies lately stemming from things that parliament members have said.
Parliament members.
It really shows how, I don't know, how delicate this whole power dynamic is and how even in this like seemingly harmonious society, there's a lot of room for different interpretations, let's say.
I'm all ears.
All right, so this is where the tea gets spilled.
Let's hear it.
So the prime minister, their name is Stonebreaker, said that they want to realize a fun Nukutia.
Okay.
Yeah, so seemingly harmless, right?
I mean, yeah.
But a lot of citizens felt like that was disrespectful to General Nuko.
Really?
Because they felt like it was implying that Nukutia wasn't already fun because of Nuko, you know?
So they're saying that wanting a fun country is disrespectful?
Basically, yeah, it's a lot.
Wow, so even saying that is like a big deal.
Yeah, talk about walking on eggshells, right? Seriously.
And it's not just the prime minister who's, you know, causing a stir.
Oh, there's more.
Another parliament member, Forrest, sparked like outrage.
What did they do?
By saying that Nukutia is, quote, a nation centered around chocolate croissants.
Oh, the chocolate croissants.
I know, right? So, again, seemingly harmless, right?
Yeah, we've talked about how important those are there.
Exactly. But the problem is, critics felt like that statement, that quote, was downplaying the Moai statues.
Oh, I see.
Which, as we've discussed, are like the other big pillar.
Right, right.
And it's like, you can't talk about Nukutia without both, you know.
So they're both key to who they are.
Yeah, they're both like two sides of the same coin.
Interesting.
Yeah, you'd think a country obsessed with chocolate croissants would be a little more chill.
True, yeah.
But it seems like even the smallest, like, change from what's expected leads to huge backlash.
So what does that tell us?
I think it shows that even in a place that, like, on the surface seems really unified.
There are always, like, these underlying tensions and different ways of seeing what, you know, makes them who they are.
That makes a lot of sense.
So we've got a charismatic leader, a nation that is obsessed with Moai statues.
And chocolate croissants.
And chocolate croissants, of course.
Right.
And this whole political climate where even saying fun can, like, set people off.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah. And this deep dive is just getting started.
Oh, can't wait to hear more.
So what else can you tell us about, like, the inner workings of Nukutia?
Well, there's definitely a lot more to unpack, from their take on, like, technology and media to surprisingly, how they interact with, like, the rest of the world.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Nukutia is full of these, like, contradictions. And I guess it makes us really rethink, like, what it means to be a nation.
Yeah, and what culture really is.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Great.
Let's take a break here.
Sounds good.
And we'll come back to the weird and wonderful world of Nukutia right after this.
You know, it's really interesting how Nukutia uses technology.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, like, on one hand, General Nuko is using, you know, social media to connect with people.
Right.
But they also have that Moai-only reception system.
Oh, yeah, for their broadcasts, right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they're picking and choosing which parts of modern stuff they want while still, like, holding on to the old ways.
Right. And it's, like, all very carefully done to fit their image.
Totally. And this actually reminds me of something.
Oh, yeah.
So Nukutia just launched, get this, the world's first 6G television network.
6G? No way they're that far ahead.
Apparently so.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's complete with, you guessed it, a Moai-only reception system.
So they skip, like, a whole bunch of tech stuff, but still filter it through this Moai lens.
Oh, right? It's kind of wild.
It really is. What are they even watching on this thing?
So think like Moai-themed news, entertainment, education shows, but all about Moai. Like their history, their culture, everything. They even have a channel, and this is not a joke.
Yeah.
That's just Nuko 24/7.
A Nuko channel, wow.
I know, it's very on brand for them.
It is, yeah.
But what's really crazy is they're giving these 6G TVs to every single household for free.
Free.
No fees, no bills, nothing.
That's pretty generous.
Right.
I mean, I guess they want to make sure everyone has access to the information.
I mean, yeah, and entertainment, sure.
Right, right.
But you got to wonder about the, like, you know, the other side of that.
Oh, what do you mean?
Is it really just about access?
Yeah.
Or is this another way to, like, control what people see and hear?
Oh, and make Nuko look even more important.
Exactly. And it's easy to, like, get caught up in how quirky Nukutia is.
Right.
But there's this whole other layer here about who has the power and are they manipulating people.
And the Thousand Moai movement, right?
Oh, yeah. That's still going strong.
I bet that's affecting things, too.
Big time. All those Moai statues, I mean, they need materials to build them, right?
Yeah.
So now there's a huge shortage of building materials.
I see. So it's like good intentions, but...
with consequences.
Yeah.
And it's affecting construction. It's affecting everyday stuff. Even...
wait, even the chocolate croissants.
Even the chocolate croissants.
Wow, it's like everything is connected.
It really is. But, okay, get this. They came up with a solution.
Okay.
This is the Nukutia solution.
What is it?
The Recycle Moai plan.
What does that even mean?
They're literally taking old Moai statues and breaking them down to make new ones.
Really?
It's pretty drastic.
Yeah.
But I guess it shows, like, how committed they are to this whole Moai thing.
And it's practical.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, you got to wonder.
What's that?
Do they even care about the old ones?
Right. Like, if they're willing to just dismantle them. I mean, maybe it's like they believe the spirit of the Moai is, like, more important than the actual statue.
Right. The idea is more important.
Right. Like, even repurposed, it's still culturally important.
Yeah. Or maybe they're just, like, desperate.
I mean, it's possible.
They need Nuko to get better.
Yeah.
So they're willing to, like, change up their traditions.
That's a tough situation for sure.
It is, yeah.
And a lot of it depends on Nuko's health.
Right, remember that smartwatch thing?
Oh, yeah, where they joked about having no oxygen.
I mean, that was just a casual comment.
I know.
But it threw everything off.
Yeah, anything Nuko says basically sends the country into a frenzy.
I guess it makes sense, though.
How so?
Well, they're the leader.
Right.
And they make all the pronouncements that affect...
yeah, like the government, the economy.
Exactly.
And seemingly the emotional state of everyone living there.
Like their mood depends on Nuko.
Pretty much. And speaking of pronouncements, Nuko just said they're ready for Moai Day.
Oh, yeah, their big holiday.
Yeah, everyone is super hyped about it, especially with that new Choco Croissant wine coming out.
Oh, yeah, the chocolate croissant wine.
I know, it's like they're going all out this year.
They really are.
Don't forget about that boost system either.
Oh, right, where people can pay extra.
For the wine, yeah, to show they support Nuko.
I mean, it's smart, right?
Oh, yeah, from a marketing perspective, for sure.
Make some money. And it makes people feel like they're being patriotic.
Exactly, like you're buying a product, but also showing your loyalty.
It's a little, I don't know, sneaky.
Yeah, it does make you wonder if it's all a bit manipulative.
Yeah, it does.
And they've got special lines at the stores just for boosting.
Seriously. Boost lines.
I'm telling you, this wine is more than just a drink.
It's like a statement.
Exactly. It's a whole social phenomenon.
Well,
And Nukutia, I mean, they're really good at this.
At what?
Like weaving their whole cultural story into every part of life.
Oh, I see. Yeah, like the currency, the technology, the holidays.
And even like a bottle of wine.
Wow. It's really all connected.
Okay, so we've talked about Moai, the croissants, tech, the wine.
Right.
What about the whole political scene?
Oh, yeah. What's going on with that?
Remember those parliament members who said those controversial things?
Oh, yeah.
Well, things haven't exactly calmed down.
Really?
Yeah, in fact, that whole fun Nukutia comment,
From the prime minister, right?
yeah, that sparked like a whole bigger debate about leadership
Okay.
and what it actually means to be happy in Nukutia.
Huh. So it's not just about the comment itself.
No, it's about like who gets to decide what fun is.
Oh, I see. It's like challenging Nuko's role.
Exactly. And as we've seen, that can be a risky move.
Yeah. People really seem to love Nuko.
They do, and it looks like there's not much room for disagreeing with them.
Wow. So it's like this happy, quirky place, but also,
Kind of strict.
yeah,
It's definitely a contrast.
it makes you wonder about like how much freedom people really have there.
Yeah, to think for themselves, you know?
Yeah. And to be themselves.
Which brings us to the other controversy.
Oh, right. The chocolate croissant one.
Yeah, the statement that made the Moai Bureau mad.
Because it left out the Moais.
It seems like a small thing, but people got really upset.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's not really just about what was said. It's
Okay.
about, like, the order of things.
What do you mean?
In Nukutia, the Moai are at the top.
Right.
And if you try to put anything else, even chocolate croissants,
Which everyone loves.
I know, right?
Above.
Above them, even a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like you're messing with their whole identity.
That's like they can only have one top thing.
I think that's a good way to put it, yeah.
Huh. It's like they're scared of change or something.
Or maybe they just need everything to be, like, in its place.
To make sense of the world.
Yeah, and it's crazy how a simple statement
Yeah.
can show us all that.
It really is.
Okay, so we've got political problems, a resource crisis, a huge holiday coming up, and a leader who everyone is, like, super anxious about.
It's a lot.
It is. What else is there to uncover about Nukutia?
Well, believe it or not, there's more.
Real.
We haven't even talked about how Nukutia interacts with the rest of the world.
Oh, that's right. They seem so focused on themselves.
I know, it's surprising.
And there's something else about their money system, too.
The two currencies.
Yeah, that I think is really revealing.
Okay, I'm definitely curious.
So let's dive into these last few pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And see what we can learn about Nukutia's place on the world stage.
And what the future holds for them.
Exactly. So we've talked about a lot, the Moai, the chocolate croissants, the politics, even that boost system for the Choco Cornet wine.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
It really has, but before we finish up, I'm still kind of stuck on that dual currency thing.
Oh yeah, the Nictino and the Nukits.
Yeah, you said it tells us something about, like, how their economy and society work, right?
Absolutely. So the Nictino, that's their main currency.
Right, for everyday stuff.
Exactly. But the Nukit,
Yeah, other one.
yeah, that's only for things that are, culturally important.
So Moai statues and chocolate croissants.
Exactly. It's like they've made this whole separate economy just for those things.
Which, to be fair, are super important to them.
Yeah, it's part of who they are.
But, like, why do you think they do that?
Well, I think it gives them more control
Okay.
and keeps things stable.
In what way?
Well, they can set the prices for the Moai and the croissants in Nukits.
Okay.
And no matter what happens with the Nictino,
Yeah.
those prices stay the same.
So even if, like, their economy isn't doing so well,
Exactly.
people can still afford those things.
And to make sure everyone has access to their culture no matter what.
That's a really interesting way to look at it. It's like a safety net for their culture.
Yeah, I think so.
Huh. It makes you wonder if other countries could do something similar.
Like, what do you mean?
I don't know, maybe have a separate currency for, like, education or healthcare.
So no matter what happens with the economy.
Yeah, people can still afford those things.
That's a really interesting idea.
I know, right?
I mean, it would be perfect, obviously.
Right. What would be considered important enough?
Exactly. And would it be fair to everyone?
Good.
But it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, and it really shows how much Nukutia cares about protecting their culture.
Yeah, it's built into their system.
And that actually reminds me of something else.
What's that?
How they interact with, like, the rest of the world.
Oh, right, because they seem so focused on, like, just Nukutia,
I know, it's kind of surprising.
but they were in that virtual world event.
Oh, yeah, Tinky.
Yeah, where they showed off those digital Moai.
They're beautiful, too.
They were.
It's interesting, though, right?
What is?
They're all about their own traditions,
Yeah.
but they're also, like, participating in this global thing.
I think they're being careful.
In what way?
Choosing things where they can show off their culture.
But on their own terms.
Exactly.
And don't forget, General Nuko went to that exhibit.
Oh, that's right. And they said all those nice things about the artist.
Oh, yeah. They were very proud.
It's probably on TV.
On the Moai channel, most likely.
Yeah.
But, okay, here's the part I found interesting. So Nuko had their own booth there.
At the event.
Yeah, but they kept it empty.
Empty.
Why?
I don't know, maybe they were being humble.
Like they didn't want to take attention away from the artists.
Right. It was all about celebrating Nukutia.
But it's also a good look. Right?
For Nuko, yeah, it makes them look selfless.
Like they care more about their people than being famous.
Exactly. It's all part of their, I don't know, their story.
Yeah. Nukutia is this peaceful place, rich with culture.
With a great leader.
Who's always thinking in the future.
And it seems to be working for them.
I mean, they've got their problems.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But the people really seem to love Nuko and their traditions.
But is it all real?
What do you mean?
I mean, we've seen how they control information.
Oh, yeah, the Moai only broadcasts, the 6G TVs.
Exactly, so maybe people don't really have a choice.
It's definitely something to think about.
So here we are at the end of our deep dive.
Wow, we covered a lot.
We did, and Nukutia is definitely a lot more complicated than I thought it would be.
Yeah, they're quirky, fun.
But also kind of intense.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit fragile.
Exactly. It makes you wonder what will happen to them.
You know, I think it just shows that every country, every culture has its own story.
And it's never simple.
Nukutia might seem like really different.
But they make us think about things that are important to all of us.
Like how we're led, what makes us who we are.
And how we balance, like, the old and the new.
It's a lot to think about.
It is. So what do we want our listeners to take away from all this?
Well, I think the most important thing is to not just believe what you see.
To look deeper.
Exactly. Question things and realize there's always more than one side to the story.
Nukutia might seem like a small island nation.
But what's happening there is relevant to everyone.
It really is. So to all our listeners out there, if you could ask General Nuko one question, what would it be?
That's a good question.
Share your thoughts with us online. Use the hashtag #DeepDiveInNukutia.
We want to hear what you think.
We do. Until next time, keep exploring and never stop questioning the world around you.
And thanks for joining us.